When it comes time for a company to decide whether they're going to stay on-prem or move to the cloud, is this something where most clients will work with Rockwell or their Plex group directly, or does Rockwell have an ecosystem of channel partners and systems integrators that can help them with that decision?
Exactly. Rockwell does have a very, very strong group of Encompass partners, solution providers, which are companies that have a very strong level of partnership with Rockwell itself. Most companies that Rockwell many times that either acquires or forms very, very high levels of partnership come in through that Encompass partner or solution provider channel. They certainly have a very close relationship with all the systems integrators just because of the number of projects that Rockwell does need to implement. So we're working with organizations like CSIA, the Control Systems Integrators Association. They have a very, very strong relationship with the great majority of those members, because this is really the channel that really is going to help these customers make the transition. To give you an example, sometimes what we find is that customers who are, when they have to decide cloud versus on-prem, sometimes they look at the situation of real time. For example, maybe for a human machine interface software application, they may want to keep that on-prem because they may have a worry about latency, that if it's up on the cloud, that maybe they're not getting quite the same real-time abilities to monitor and control. When applications like historians, MES certainly would be a case, quality, production management, a lot of these applications really, lend themselves very well to the cloud, because obviously that they're, the storage aspect, certainly be able to store the terabytes and terabytes of data that's required, the ability to have the necessary analytics to interpret that data and converting it into meaningful information is critical. So this is an area where that's very strong. And the fact is that because in many cases the cloud providers, whether it be Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS, they have very, very high levels of cybersecurity technology that are built in. And certainly in this era, cybersecurity is completely paramount. So the cloud brings a tremendous amount of security with it. So sometimes what we find is people tend to think of the control applications, keeping that on-prem and beginning to migrate everything else to the cloud. There will be a day, certainly, though I do think that it may all be in the cloud and maybe very little will be on-prem. But I would say for today, in today's era, right now, that seems to be about the borderline that most customers are thinking right now.